One of my own first questions was how much I should charge as an expert witness. At the time, I was doing other consulting, so I just charged the same consulting rate. As I later discovered, rates for expert witnesses generally exceed standard consulting rates. If you do a quick search on Google for expert witness consulting rates, you will discover what your competition charges. Some expert witness servicing organizations also publish lists of rates, ranging from low to middle to high, that exist for your specialty. Once attorneys begin hiring you for cases, you can ask them what the typical rates are for experts in your specialty. As I said earlier, rates do vary according to your specialty. If you are a new expert witness, pick a rate near the lower end of the range. You can plan to increase your rate to the mid-range after several cases, and then into the higher range after additional cases. You should reassess your rates every year or two, adjusting them upwards in concert with your growing expertise and with normal inflationary pressures. Naturally, if economic conditions warrant it, you can reduce your rates. Of course, if you get really popular, you could raise your rates. Generally, expert witnesses charge for their time by the hour, although some experts in high-priced medical specialties charge by the day. I do not advise using a flat daily rate independent of the number of hours worked, although I do suggest a minimum daily rate for travel days. When I travel away from the office, my fee schedule specifies that I will bill at my hourly rate, but with at least 8 hours charged for any day that I am away from my office completely on their behalf. A minimum daily rate guarantees that you at least receive payment for a typical 8-hour workday. If the attorneys turn your day into 12 or 14 hours, you can still charge them for 12 or 14 hours worth of service at your hourly rate. Whether by the day or the hour, the rates depend in part on your industry and in part on your background, credentials, and expert witness experience. A neurosurgeon might well command $1,000 an hour or $10,000 a day, while another expert in a specialty that does not require the same number of years of academic study may only earn $100 or $200 or $300 an hour. Charging the same hourly rate for your time, regardless of the activity, simply values time evenly. Testifying in court is more stressful than reading case materials in your office. However, those activities take time, so one logical approach is to charge a consistent hourly rate for that time. If you do this, some attorneys may ask to pay a lower rate for travel time, but they might be willing to pay a higher rate for testimony time. I can tell you that while some experts do reduce their travel rate, others do not. The ones who do not reduce their travel rate generally explain to the attorneys involved that they work on materials or documents for the case while they travel. This does tend to make the travel time argument moot and lets you use the time efficiently as well. Experts that do vary their rates usually charge more for testimony time, which everyone recognizes can be stressful and challenging hours for an expert witness. So if you do charge varying rates for your time, upping the fee for testimony time will be the most palatable. Key tactic then? You determine your rates. Some experts charge less and sometimes even half the normal rate when they are traveling to and from an activity. These same experts may charge as much as twice for testimony time. Most experts do charge door-to-door for travel time. I cannot say whether these variable rates produce more work for experts, but reducing rates for travel time does seem to be very well received. Another interesting consideration arises occasionally when a client wants you to offer a flat rate per day. Sometimes you can set a fair flat rate for a laboratory exam or a specific scientific or medical test or procedure. It's not unreasonable to offer such flat rates for those services. However, do not accept or offer a flat rate for general services. It's nearly impossible to ascertain in advance the number of hours you will have to spend doing research or analyses or tests or reconstructions for a case. After you begin your work on a case, it's also likely that the attorney will ask you to do additional tasks beyond those discussed in your first conversations.